So I'm not going to ever say you have to SWAT.
Old school is a way of life in Inola, Oklahoma. At Pops and Gigi's Cafe near the railroad tracks, the burgers may be the best in this part of the state.
Grilled onions? All right. I get 10.
But owner Charlie Weatherly says what really keeps folks coming back is the sense of community, often missing in faster-paced towns.
You know what they drink, you know what they're going to order, you know what specials they like, which ones they don't, so.
It's not just a philosophy they have at the cafe, but in the school district too. School officials believing an old school solution is one way to handle new problems with kids.
We have twice as many requests for us to SWAT as we actually SWAT.
Call it licks, spanking, or swatting, but for certain generations, if you were on the receiving end of a paddle, it was a common and accepted form of punishment.
Bothered me about the discussion.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's always been, oh, this child's been swatted and they're going to become this horrible criminal. And yet I'm saying most of the kids my age, as we grew up, we probably mostly all were swatted, and most everyone I knew came out okay.
Kent Holbrook, the superintendent of Inola Public Schools, says with written permission from parents, they SWAT about 1 to 2 elementary kids a month. And it's never the first form of punishment. So do you feel like it's an effective form of discipline?
And again, as long as it's used right, as long as it's used sparingly.
Holbrook says he's got his administrators back.
And that's where I get back to rural versus urban. It's a whole different dynamic, I think.
And so does the police chief in town.
It surprised me.
When Chief Brad Craig published an article in support of paddling, he says the feedback he got in town was good, but elsewhere, not so much.
If you don't have a good learning environment, a disciplined environment, you're not going to learn. They talk about how low our school scores are. Does anybody ever think that might be part of the problem?
We're a leader in so many of these things, and maybe that's because of a cycle of behavior that reinforces these things.
State Representative John Waldron taught in Tulsa schools before turning to politics. He agrees that districts should be the ones deciding how to discipline students, but he doesn't believe in paddling because Oklahoma has the 7th highest rate of corporal punishment in schools, according to the Office of Civil Rights. Does that surprise you?
I don't want us to be top 10 in spankings.
So I'm not going to ever say you have to SWAT. But I'm also never going to tell a parent, no, you should never SWAT.
When you sat him down there, he really knew that this is
I think that he never got a lick in school, so that might have had something to do with it, the fear of it, so.
When Charlie's son was in elementary school, she signed the paperwork that gave the school the okay to SWAT right in front of him.
I trust my people,
You really trust him?
I do. I trust our schools. We have a great school system here.
For folks here, they know the old school way of life may not be for everybody, but that's how they do it around here. Reporting in Inola, Maureen Wirtz, Tulsa's Channel 8.